Hello to all the classic people that are returning. I'm glad you're back. I want to welcome any new visitors and let you know that there will be spoilers ahead. Today on Classic Movie Review, we are taking on the Numismatic nightmare, the Brasher Doubloon, 1947. Raymond Chandler used a true story of the Brasher Doubloon. There'll be more below, as a MacGuffin for his 1942 novel, The High Window. This story was brought to the screen as Time to Kill, 1942, and later as the Brasher Doubloon, 1947. Actors. George Montgomery acted in the role of private investigator Philip Marlowe. Montgomery was first covered in Battle of the Bulge, 1965, playing the super tough NCO that was shot as a result of the actions of a young Louis. I like Montgomery in this role as he seemed tough enough for me. Marvin Miller played criminal Vincent Blair. Miller was first covered in the fantastic sci-fi Forbidden Planet, 1956. Houseley Stevenson was uncredited as numismatic/coin dealer Elisha Morningstar. Stevenson was first covered in the Bogey Bacall film-noir Dark Passages, 1947. Nancy Guild played the role of KG Merle Davis. Guild was born in LA in 1925. She began her career as a contract actor at 20th Century Fox. This lovely young actress was cleverly marketed as her name rhymes with wild. Guild made her screen debut in the Joseph L. Mankiewicz directed Somewhere in the Night, 1946. She was cast as one of the leads in the Brasher Doubloon, 1947. She did well in this film and could have been a major star. She married another actor, Chuck Russell, and later appeared with him in Give My Regards to Broadway, 1948. She then left 20th Century Fox. Guild paired with Orson Welles in Black Magic, 1949. Later, she acted in the Universal Studios horror/comedy film Bud Abbott and Lou Costello Meet the Invisible Man, 1951. She began working on television and made more movies, including Francis Covers the Big Town, 1953. Love that Army Mule. She divorced Russell in 1950. In 1951, she married Broadway's Ernest H. Martin and took time to raise a family. In 1955, she retired from the industry. She returned to the screen for Primager's Such Good Friends, 1971. Guild divorced Martin in 1975 and married photojournalist John Bryson in 1978. This third marriage lasted until 1995. Nancy Guild died in 1999 at the age of 73. Fritz Kortner played the role of blackmailer Rudolf Veneer. Kortner was born in 1892 in the Austro-Hungarian Empire in what is now Vienna. He began his career in 1910 after studying acting at Vienna's Academy of Music and Dramatic Arts. In 1919, Kortner joined Max Reinhardt's theater and became quite successful on the stage. He also wrote plays and directed films. He began working as a film actor in 1915. Some of his movies include The Hands of Orlok, 1924, Pandora's Box, 1929, The Dreyfus Case, 1930, in the title role, Chu Chin Chow, 1934, with Anna May Wong, Somewhere in the Night, 1946, and The Brasher Doubloon, 1947. In the 1930s, those damn Nazis started acting up. Kortner fled in the most recent Jewish diaspora. He fled to London in 1934 and to America in 1937. He found work in American cinema and was in many anti-Nazi films. Kortner returned to Germany in 1947. He became successful in the theater, and beginning in 1954, he began directing films again. He died in 1970 in Germany. Hey, there's a link below to our merch store. You can get these really nifty shirts. All the cool kids are wearing them. There's a lot of other stuff there like coffee cups and stickers, so check it out when you get a chance. Story. The credits roll over a U.S. coin dated 1787. The coin bears the mark Pluribus Unum, which is correct because the use of this motto began in 1782. The word doubloon is from the Spanish for double. The basic doubloon had a value of 4 Spanish dollars or 32 reals. There were also higher valued doubloons. That being said, there really is a Brasher Doubloon. New York goldsmith Ephraim Brasher privately minted the doubloon in 1787. This coin was valued at the time of 8 Spanish escudos or 16 Spanish dollars. One of the surviving coins was sold in 1981 for $625,000. At the last sale in 2021, the coin fetched $9.36 million. Philip Marlowe, George Montgomery, narrates as he drives to a large mansion in Pasadena. He's unhappy because it's hot and he's had a long drive. Marlowe is curious about the case because of the female voice that called him about the job. When the door opens, Marlowe is happy because the voice matches the looks. The door is opened by Merle Davis, Nancy Guild. Merle seems very lovely and tells Marlowe that she picked his name from the phone book. She then says that she is the secretary to Miss Elizabeth Murdoch, Florence Bate. Marlowe starts macking on Merle right away, and he gets a little handsy. Merle describes Mrs. Murdoch as odd and hard to deal with. Merle says she is really nice deep down. Marlowe asks if he will see her while working on the case. Merle replies that it depends on him. When Merle comes out of Mrs. Murdoch's study, she is grabbed and questioned by Leslie Murdoch, Conrad Janis, the adult son of Mrs. Murdoch. Marlowe watches this strange interaction. Merle flees into her office. Leslie approaches Marlowe and says his mother has decided not to hire a private investigator. He offers to pay Marlowe. Merle exits her office and says Marlowe can go see Mrs. Murdoch now. Leslie storms away. Marlowe meets with the very demanding and demeaning Mrs. Murdoch. The older woman says that someone stole something from the house. She doesn't want the police because she doesn't want anyone arrested, and she knows who took it but will not tell. Mrs. Murdoch will not discuss the dismissal attempt made by Leslie. Finally, she says that a coin, the Brasher Doubloon, valued at $10,000, was stolen from her safe. Mrs. Murdoch calls Merle in to open the safe. Marlowe is told that Leslie and Merle also have the combination to the safe. Marlowe takes this opportunity to squeeze into the small safe space to question Merle about her interaction with Leslie. Mrs. Murdoch orders Merle to write a $100 check for Murdoch. When Mrs. Murdoch snaps at her, Merle becomes very upset. Mrs. Murdoch continues that a coin dealer named Alicia Morningstar, Houseley Stevenson, had called to inquire if the coin was for sale. Murdoch discovered that the coin was missing. Marlowe is giving the check, and Mrs. Murdoch says he doesn't look very bright.
Here you are, and I hope you're worth it. To tell you the truth, I expected an older man, someone more intelligent looking.
I'm wearing a disguise.
Marlowe asks about her son and is plainly told that the matter must be handled as she directed. Marlowe says he needs to be told the truth and be allowed to handle things in his own manner. He leaves the room, but intends not to take the job. On the way out, Marlowe hears Merle typing and enters her office. He asks Merle what hold the family has over her. Merle defends the family. He tells her that he is not taking the case and returns the check. Merle goes soft and says the case means everything to her. She says she doesn't know if she stole it. Looking for a match, Marlowe notes that there is an ivory-handled derringer in Merle's desk. Marlowe puts his hands on the back of Merle's arms. She whirls around frightened and says she dislikes having men touch her. Marlowe kids her about her expensive perfume and good looks, sending different messages.
You're not cooperating any more than she did.
I'm sorry. I want to help.
That wasn't meant as a pass. Not an out-and-out one, anyway.
I know. It's just that I don't like to have men touch me.
Well, in that case, you better do something about your appearance.
Merle continues that it is a phobia she would like to get over. As a natural good Samaritan, Marlowe offers to give her a free lesson. He draws her in and says she needs 6 lessons. Marlowe leaves, agreeing to take the job. Marlowe returns to his 2-room office in a cheap high-rise office building. There is no secretary and only 2 phones and a window. Before he can make out the deposit slip for the check, a strange little man with one scarred eyelid and a 1920s-style straw hat appears at the door. A little suspicious, Marlowe opens his desk drawer so he can reach his revolver if needed. The straw hat man introduces himself as Eddie Prue, Alfred Linder, who was uncredited. He says he works for Vince Blair, Marvin Miller, owner of the Lucky Club, and that Marlowe is now working for Vince. Eddie offers Marlowe $200 cash, but the Seamus declines. Prue pulls a gun on Marlowe and demands that they go see Vince. Marlowe gives the man a kick under the table and disarms him. Prue is humiliated as Marlowe returns his gun to him, now empty. Prue gives him a warning to give up on the case. Marlowe goes back to work and calls numismatist Alicia Morningstar. Marlowe travels to the coin shop and notes its location is near Skid Row and that Morningstar is probably a fence. Morningstar talks about the doubloon and the history of violence associated with it. Marlowe says he will report Morningstar to the police if he doesn't give information. He said he saw the coin and offered $2,000, but he will not reveal the seller's name. Marlowe waits in the outer office and hears Morningstar call for George Anson, Jack Conrad, uncredited. Marlowe heads to the Florence Apartments on Bunker Hill to find Anson. He comments that it used to be a good location. Now it's only for the downtrodden. The apartment manager, Jack Overman, speaks to Marlowe as he enters the building. Marlowe goes up to Anson's room on the second floor. No one answers, so Marlowe just goes in and starts looking around. He eventually finds Anson murdered in the bathroom. Anson has been shot. Marlowe goes through the man's pockets, finds a phone number for Morningstar, and a check claim ticket. Realizing he was seen entering the building, Marlowe pays the apartment manager $5 to let him in the room. Marlowe pretends he has not been inside the room as the manager discovers the body. The police come in and give Marlowe a good going over. They know he found the body but have nothing to hold him on. When he is searched, he has the claim check. After his release, Marlowe goes to the train station and uses the claim check. The package he is given is about the size of a silver dollar. He opens the box and removes the doubloon from its cotton protection. OMG, then he holds it in his hands with no gloves. Marlowe returns to Morningstar's coin shop and finds Morningstar dead from a gunshot wound. On the ground by the body is a gun that looks like the one that was in Merle's desk drawer. Marlowe takes the gun and wraps it in a handkerchief. He leaves without calling the police, taking the murder weapon with him. Marlowe returns to the Pasadena mansion, but breaks in to check Merle's office. He is busted by Merle. Marlowe bluffs about the break-in. Merle tells him that Mrs. Murdoch had her send a wire saying the coin had been returned and that he was off the case. Marlowe hadn't received the wire yet because he had not returned to his office. He shows Merle the gun he took from the crime scene. She cowers in the corner. Marlowe convinces her that he is on her side. Merle says she can't tell the truth. Leslie comes in and confirms that the coin has been returned. Leslie is not interested in the names of the two murdered men. Leslie confesses that he took the coin to pay a debt. He says that after his mother found out, he had to get the coin back and said he would pay later. Mrs. Murdoch wakes, and she and Marlowe begin to talk. He asks her why Merle is so scared and can't have callers. He gets no answer. Mrs. Murdoch says Merle has been with her for 5 years since the death of Mr. Murdoch. Mrs. Murdoch convinces Marlowe that Merle is mentally unbalanced because she was present when Mr. Murdoch fell to his death during the Rose Parade. Mrs. Murdoch says Leslie tried to do her a favor when he took the coin. They order Marlowe out of the house. He shows them the doubloon. OMG, he's carrying the bare coin in his pocket and holding it in his hand. He refuses to return the coin until the murders are solved. He tells Mrs. Murdoch that she can call the police if she wants. As soon as Marlowe leaves the room, Mrs. Murdoch instructs Merle to use her feminine wiles to recover the coin. Mrs. Murdoch tells her to get the coin or she will no longer take care of her. Marlowe goes to his office and finds Rudolph Veneer, Fritz Kortner, attempting to break in. Veneer says he wants to talk about the doubloon. Marlowe finds the wire firing him from the case and puts it in his pocket. Veneer says the coin will belong to him when certain arrangements are made. Veneer will not tell what he plans to exchange for the coin, but he does say that he will be in great trouble if he doesn't obtain it tonight. Veneer pulls a gun on Marlowe and demands the coin.
That unless I have the coin in my possession sometime tonight, I shall be in great danger. I'm not ordinarily a violent man, Mr. Marlowe, but under the circumstances, I have no other choice.
OMG, Marlowe takes the coin from his pocket, flips it through the air, it hits the ground, Veneer puts his hand on it, and Marlowe stomps on it with his shoe, just like at Mardi Gras. Marlowe takes the gun from Veneer. He searches and roughs up Veneer and discovers that the man was a freelance cameraman after immigrating from Germany. Marlowe also finds out that Veneer is blackmailing someone with some mysterious information. Marlowe throws Veneer out of his office. Marlowe puts the Morningstar murder gun in his desk. OMG, he takes the coin and hides it in his tobacco pouch? When Marlowe returns to his apartment, he is told that a Miss Jones is waiting for him in his apartment. It is Merle, and she is wearing the most iconic femme fatale hat and dress I have ever seen, period, full stop.
Oh, hello.
I gave myself even money to be you.
I suppose this must seem awfully forward of me.
At first, Merle plays doe-eyed and innocent. Marlowe knows she is trying to get the doubloon. Marlowe moves in and gives her a kissing lesson. During the conversation, Merle reveals that she worked as Mr. Murdoch's secretary and he was constantly pawing at her. From the research for this movie, it seems that Mr. Murdoch raped Merle. This is only implied in the film. Merle doesn't really remember the part where the man went out the window. She also doesn't know what Mrs. Murdoch and Leslie had cooked up, saying that the doubloon was recovered. Merle states that there is no connection between the coin and Mr. Murdoch's death. Marlowe asks about Veneer, and Merle is shocked by how much he already knows. When Marlowe returns from getting a drink, Merle holds a revolver on him that she found in one of his dresser drawers. She makes him empty his pocket. Afterwards, she searches but misses the coin in the tobacco pouch. She orders him to undress. He begins to undress, all the time watching Merle in the mirror. Finally, he tells her that the gun doesn't even have bullets in it. When she looks down, he takes the gun from her and then empties the round from the weapon. Merle is hot as a firecracker. She calms down when Marlowe kisses her again. Merle confesses that she wants to give the coin to Veneer. Mrs. Murdoch has been paying Veneer $500 monthly for the last 5 years. Merle asks to stay at the apartment. Marlowe says he will sleep at the office. When she asks why, he says she is still a suspect in 2 murders and may want to murder him. Marlowe goes outside to his car and is smacked on the back of the head with a sap. Prue and another man take Marlowe to the Lucky Club where Vince Blair waits. There's a woman in his office that looks like a man in drag. She's not in the credits. I have found no other information about her. So if you know anything about it, please put it in the comments.
Changed your mind about coming to see me, huh? You boys play kind of rough, don't you?
Did you find it?
Nope. I frisked him.
Smart, aren't you?
Right now, I don't feel so smart.
Don't say that. You're smart. Smart enough to give me that coin without the boys having to bounce you.
The goons try to beat the coin's location out of Marlowe. Leslie shows up and says Marlowe had the coin today. Marlowe fights back but is beaten by multiple men. From the ground, Marlowe says they should ask Veneer about the coin. The criminals are all shocked that he knows about Veneer. Marlowe pretends to be knocked out and hears Leslie talking about his mother, Mrs. Murdoch, being blackmailed. They see he is awake and beat him back to sleep. They place the groggy Marlowe on a couch and interrogate him about Veneer. Marlowe says maybe Leslie gave the coin to Veneer. Marlowe shows the wire saying the coin had been recovered. When the criminals start fighting, Marlowe makes his escape through a window. With the help of some winos, Marlowe gets away from the criminals. He makes it back to his office, but is having a rough time worrying about being blamed for the murders. He receives a call from Merle, and she is at Veneer's house. She begs Marlowe to come to Veneer's. Merle shows Marlowe Veneer's body, and he is dead from being shot. There are also scratches on his arm, and Marlowe thinks a woman did the killing. Merle claims she found him dead. Merle has been trying to get some film from Veneer. The house has already been searched. Merle and Marlowe search the house again, but with no luck. Marlowe asks why Mrs. Murdoch has been paying the blackmail for Merle. Leslie is outside the door and listening to the conversation. Merle says that Mrs. Murdoch paid the money to avoid scandal and protect Merle because it was an accident when the husband was killed. Marlowe makes one last check of the fireplace, then washes his hands. Merle says she didn't kill Veneer. Marlowe replies that if it were not Merle, it was Leslie. Leslie sneaks in with a gun in his hand. Marlowe searches for a paper towel until he finds a roll in a high cabinet. Veneer's roll of film from the Rose Parade 5 years earlier is wrapped in the roll. Merle grabs the film and runs, but Leslie stops her in the living room. Leslie takes the role of film. Ever cool, Marlowe kicks a pillow towards Leslie and disarms the criminal. Marlowe takes possession of the film and calls homicide. Marlowe asks that Blair and some others be picked up. The homicide detective and Marlowe are in his office and they are setting up to show the film. Marlowe says it is connected to 4 murders that include Mr. Murdoch. Marlowe gives Leslie's confession for 2 murders and gives the stolen gun evidence to the coppers. The detective is not too happy. The room is filled by another cop, Blair, Prue, Leslie, another detective, and Merle. Marlowe confirms that the Brasher Doubloon was really a MacGuffin and Leslie only wanted the film to pay his gambling debt. Blair and the other criminals wanted to continue to blackmail Mrs. Murdoch. Mrs. Murdoch thought Leslie was retrieving the film for her. Merle wanted the film because she thought she had killed Mr. Murdoch. This film then uses a technique made famous by Agatha Christie of gathering all the suspects in one room and then revealing the plot/killer. Mrs. Murdoch is the last to arrive, having been invited by Marlowe. She thinks she is getting the coin. OMG, Marlowe pulls the coin out of his pocket and the homicide detective snatches it away. Mrs. Murdoch says that Leslie must have killed to protect Merle. She then gaslights Merle into confessing to the killing because she has blackouts. Remember, there never was a movie called Gaslight 1944 that starred Ingrid Bergman and Charles Boyer. Anyway, Merle says she doesn't know. Over the objections of the homicide detective, Marlowe finally shows the parade film. Veneer filmed the parade until he saw something taking place on a high building ledge. It shows Mr. Murdoch falling from the window, but the person pushing him is not shown. Merle jumps up and begins confessing. Mrs. Murdoch comforts Merle. Marlowe pushes on and shows the close-up. It shows that Mrs. Murdoch is the actual killer of her husband.
Here we have Mrs. Murdoch in the very act of giving her husband the old heave-ho. Lights!
All right, I killed him. He was unfaithful to me and he deserved to die.
You killed Veneer too, didn't you?
Yes, he lied to me. He told me that my son was in a plot to help blackmail me.
He was.
Mrs. Murdoch then pulls a gun, but Marlowe disarms her. She says she killed her husband because he was unfaithful. She killed Veneer because he told her that Leslie was plotting against her. Mrs. Murdoch accuses Merle of being a husband stealer after her husband raped her. Mrs. Murdoch reveals that she has been keeping Merle close to torture her. Marlowe opens the window as the police take the guilty away. Marlowe's phone rings about a job. Merle takes the phone and says she is a secretary and he won't be free until the end of the week. Merle is now wholly sane and they continue the kissing lessons. Kinda dark. Conclusion. The Bunker Hill district of Los Angeles was once a very upscale neighborhood. The building used in the film as the Florence Apartments was named the Gladden Apartments and was located in Bunker Hill. The author of the book today's film was based on, Raymond Chandler, lived in the Gladden Apartments approximately 30 years before the film. Chandler was paid $2,000 for the rights to his book. The Angel's Flight was a small gauge rail system that took commuters to and from Bunker Hill. The Angel's Flight rail has appeared in over 100 films since at least 1914. Angel's Flight has appeared in numerous film noirs, including Hollow Triumph 1948, M 1951, The Turning Point 1952, Cry of the Haunted 1953, Night Has 1,000 Eyes 1948, Crisscross 1949, and Kiss Me Deadly 1955. The Bunker Hill neighborhood of Los Angeles has also been featured in various films. Although relatively late, the Brasher Doubloon 1947 conflicted with the Hays Code. For example, the kiss between Marlowe and Merle in his apartment was over 10 seconds long. She had also wanted to stay in his apartment, implying that they would have sex. Another no-no. The Brasher Doubloon 1947 is a remake of Time to Kill 1942, starring Heather Angel and Lloyd Nolan. Both of these movies were based on Raymond Chandler's novel, The High Window 1942. World famous short summary. She's cute, but come on, she may be a serial killer. Beware the Moors. There's a couple of squares that are going to pop up. One is a recommended movie for you. The other is a recommended playlist related to today's film. The round circle in the middle is for subscribing.